But anytime you and I have a new thought, a new way of thinking about something, a new way of seeing ourselves, a new way of behaving, a new pattern that we create and reinforce, what happens is the patterns that we reinforce the most become the strongest. Hey, this is John, and many people don't know this, but in grade 7, I failed English and math in the same year. However, I did really, really well in chemistry and biology. And the reason I'm sharing that with you is I developed this passion for brain science over the last 25 years. And there's a discovery that I want to share with you that a lot of scientists are saying is the discovery of the century, the greatest discovery of the last 100 years. And you're probably aware that, we've been doing real science for, about 500 or so years. And when you and I were born, scientists used to think that we were hardwired, which means that, we were born basically with the genetics of our mother and father, the X and Y chromosomes, that created our DNA, and we had all of the traits of our grandparents and our parents, etc., and that we really couldn't change. Now, over the last 20 years, since we've gotten better at being able to look deep into the human brain, a live human brain instead of a cadaver, brain scientists realized that our brain cells that create these neural connections are actually doing that in real time, every minute of every day. And even though we're not born with any beliefs or any habits or any perspectives, or to know what's good or bad, right or wrong, what religion to believe, which one is great, which one isn't, we develop these patterns in our brain that over time they become more solid, just like a highway system or a road system, in a city. But the discovery of the century is showing us that we can actually deactivate the neurodes or the patterns in our brain that maybe don't serve us, like limiting beliefs or a lower than desired self-image or letting go of fears that are holding us back. All of these patterns in our brain are things that we can deliberately change. We can evolve ourselves using the science of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself. And there's so much research that now shows us that every time you and I have a same thought, we reinforce the old pattern. But anytime you and I have a new thought, a new way of thinking about something, a new way of seeing ourselves, a new way of behaving, a new pattern that we create and reinforce, what happens is the patterns that we reinforce the most become the strongest, which means that even though we may be wired with limiting beliefs, we may be wired with low self-esteem, we may be wired to fear failure or fear disappointing ourselves again, or fear getting up and speaking because when we were a kid we got up and kids made fun of us that we gave the wrong answer. We can now rewire our brain to have more confidence, more certainty, more empowering beliefs, to let go of stupid fears that hold us back because of something we did in childhood, or because of something that our parents said or a friend said or a brother or sister said to embarrass us or make us feel ashamed of ourselves. So the greatest discovery, science of neuroplasticity, shows that the neurons, the brain cells that fire together, wire together. And the neurons that we fire deliberately, that wire together, and we do that over days and months and weeks, we can literally rewire our brain to earn more money, rewire our brain to release the self-image of being overweight, rewire our brain to be more confident, more certain, and that is an incredible gift that we have. We don't have to settle for what is. We don't have to settle for our present circumstances. We don't have to settle for a life of stress and anxiety and uncertainty. What we can settle for is our unlimited potential. What we can settle for is the ability for us to reinvent ourselves, to reinvest in ourselves, to deliberately and consciously evolve ourselves by thinking the thoughts that we want to think, by feeling the emotions we want to feel, by behaving in ways that match the success that we want. And if we do that for a week, for a month, for 2 months, for 3 months, we deliberately break free of the old patterns and create new ones and reinforce those. Is it possible that then our brain goes to work for us and it deletes or distorts all the old shit that holds us back, and it starts to help us create the most amazing life that we want? This really is the greatest time in the history of our species. 500 years of science. In the last 20 years, we know that we have the most powerful biocomputer in the whole universe. You cannot recreate your brain for $1 trillion, but what you can do is learn how to use it better. Imagine if you had the most expensive car in the world in your driveway and you had no idea how to drive it. It might look beautiful, but it really wouldn't serve much of a purpose other than looking at it. Well, I'm so excited because you have the most powerful biocomputer tool that you already own. You don't have to pay anybody for it. God gave you one of those. And yes, you can learn how to use it better. Hey, this is John, and if you liked that video, watch the next video because it is packed with things that you can do right now to achieve success way faster than ever before.